Miss Volkmann is
Oh, Miss
on.
Volkman. Okay, Miss Volkman.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't get in. Is this a common problem or it took very long?
No, I don't know. I don't.
I think maybe Paul is right now the only host. Paul, do you want to make someone else host?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You can make Miss Volkman host, and then she can take care of making some co-host if you like.
Yeah, let me see
Yes.
if I can do that.
You can.
Be a co-host too. Michael.
Go to participants if you want, and then find her name.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
It's under God of Fire, I think.
God, oh, here she is. Yeah, I
Uh,
got her name.
And then on the side, you can have a choice to make her host, a drop-down list.
That didn't work, but
He
let me try.
wields the power of Thor, Vulcan.
Can you hover over her square and find the three dots?
Hold on. Wow, I lost her. Hold on a second. Kathleen, I'm going to make it you, and then you can give it to her.
You
Yeah,
got it.
if
Absolutely.
I can. I'm going to hit Kathleen. Let's see what it says.
Mhm.
It doesn't do anything. It's okay. I'll be the host right now.
Can you see my square?
Yes, hold it.
If if you can hover over my square, you might see three up in the right-hand corner. There's
yeah, hit that. All
yeah,
right.
click on that three square and then down
I'll
on
make
the list.
host. All right.
Yep.
I got you. Okay.
Okay.
Change host. Yes,
Yes.
please. All right, great.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Uh, I was thinking, I was talking to Paula. I just want to start with the bit about faith on page 53 to 54. Because I feel, and this don't try to look back, just listen to it, yeah? Because that which is trying to look back and get it ain't you. So just listen to it. And then maybe you'll have an intimacy instead of having an idea that you were the mover and shaker, that maybe you'll have a sense that you've been moved and shook. Yes? It's the point. So this is right out of the big book. They're talking in We Agnostics about people who have arrived at the same place many of us have arrived, but have this strong, uh, uh, some strong ideas about God or whatever. Yes. And those ideas can be used by the head to block you off from the gift of recovery. Yeah. By making it a very important point. So he's saying, without knowing it, and this is a state that many of us are in a lot of the time. Yeah. Without knowing it. How many times have you been out, like if you're a guy, how many times have you been out walking around and your zipper has been wide open? You're walking around, you're trying to meet somebody or something, and your zipper and your pants is wide open. So, and you're wondering why people are looking at you in certain ways, and you can't, and of course your head is giving you reasons. Oh, you're terribly ugly or something. No, your zipper's wide open. So, yeah, so without knowing it is a state we go into quite a lot. And on bigger levels, we're completely out to lunch in a lot of ways. Yeah. There's a narrative that we choose everything, that we do everything. It, it, the the tiniest amount of investigation will blow a big hole in it. Yeah. So here he goes. So this is a condition that allows a lot of other stuff to happen without knowing it. Yep. Without knowing it, had we not been brought to where we stood, yeah, by a certain kind of faith. Now, you can see this as every place you have stood, you have been brought there. Yeah. This isn't like a specific when you were thinking about ice cream, you were brought to this. No, they're basically saying there's some movement, some force in life that moves all of us, like the Eiffel Tower on Monopoly and the boot and stuff like that. So he says, without knowing it, had we not been brought to where we stood by a certain kind of faith. Yeah. All right. So a certain kind of faith. So it's not a faith. It's not Catholicism or being a Islam. It isn't a faith. It's faith. Yeah. What is this? So it says, for did we not, wow, for did we not believe in our own reasoning? Isn't this the state of the bondage of self? Yeah. This faith in the reasoning goes even deeper. So he goes, for did we not believe in our own reasoning? Do you believe it's yours when a lot of people share it? The same reasoning? Alcoholism is not an infinite fountain of traits. There's a certain amount of traits that imply the thing that has defeated us. And many of us, all of us, have shared those traits. Yeah. They're not ours. Yeah. The flaws in our makeup aren't our flaws. Yeah. We may have a makeup, but the flaws in them, a lot of those holes in our makeup have been blown open by alcoholism. Yeah. And it's a shared condition. And it doesn't have infinite traits or infinite characteristics. So everyone who has been defeated by self tends to have the same bullet holes. Yes? The same pattern of how you got shot or stabbed or incinerated and like that. And there is an incredible camaraderie underneath the without knowing it, there's a great camaraderie that will be triggered when you go to AA meetings because you will hear people share your thoughts, your feelings, and your reactions to life. And maybe, just maybe, there'll be a crack in the wall and you may entertain, how could they be mine if all these people have them? Yeah. How can these thoughts be mine if all these people seem to have the same thoughts and the same feelings and they reacted with the same behaviors to life? Yeah. This is the gift of us getting together. The we is where you recognize what was delivered to you as an I, me, my. That insane terminal uniqueness is broken by seeing the we-ness of the situation that we're in. Yes? So many of us have been brought to where we stood. Many of us by the same wind. Something picked us up and blew us somewhere. And it was very similar to where you and I were blown somewhere because it's the same freaking wind. Yes. And it is not of us. Its nature is foreign to us, like a parasite and a host. They're living in the same space, but they're two different natures. Yes. The parasite, if you had a tracker on you, you would see the tracker had that, and there was a tracker on the parasite, you would be at the same place. Yeah, you would be at the same. If you tracked the parasite and you tracked the host, you would be at the same location. Now, the parasite knows there's a host, but the host doesn't know there's a fucking parasite. This is the dilemma. The host doesn't know there's a parasite. And it's not just randomly, it's produced, it's manufactured. The parasite attempts to keep the host in a state of not knowing it. What the biggest thing it wants you not to know is that there's a parasite. Because if you could see there's a parasite, and maybe, just maybe, hey, I'm not a parasite, then the great divide would open, yeah, and then you would able to be free from the bondage of self because you would see you're not that which is bonding you to self. Yes, this is the hope of this meeting and this community. This is all we wish for, is a little bit of light on the topic. I have a lot of faith, I do, in what moves this program. A lot of faith. Much more faith than that wind that moved me into in pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. Way more faith in the power that struck me sober and keeps me sober. And it's the same that's keeping you sober. Yeah. Yeah. So this idea that the boogeyman progresses, well, you know what? Recovery progresses. Just stay on the operating table, and many, many days it'll be like a chaise lounge. It'll be like one of those big, cozy boys. You'll be just rolling along with situations. Yeah. So this to me is one of the most important aspects that is talked about in the book in this paragraph or two. So he goes, all right, why does this condition keep going? Because we believe in our own reasoning and it's not our reasoning, literally. Yes? We, for all intents and purposes, are looking through the same glass that every alcoholic and addict looks through. Yeah? A very self-centered tinted glass that sees mountains out of molehills, sees threats when there aren't any, lives in a state of high anxiety, irritability, and restlessness, thinks it's about them, my upbringing, this, the judge, the cop, but misses the whole fucking point. Yeah. And the parasite has made a nice nest. It has. Yeah. Yeah. So did we not have, and these statements are followed with a question, which would mean that you pause and you let what they're saying, let it in at least. Yeah. So it says here, without knowing it, had we not been brought to where we stood by a certain kind of faith? It's question mark. Yeah. They're not declaring it. They're asking you to, entertain it. Yes. Because declaring it and you're not declaring it doesn't work. You and I need to see this. They saw it. They're just sharing. We need to see it. Yeah. Yeah. So without knowing it, have we not been brought to where we stood by a certain kind of faith? Yes or no? That's the question. Yeah. The next one, for did we not believe in our own reasoning? Yeah. So we're brought to where we stood by something. And now they're going to tell you what played a role in you being brought to that something, that place. And it was having you believing in your own reasoning. So that would be, instead of hearing the head, you're listening to the head. Yeah. And the head is telling you how it was like, how it's going to be like, how you are like, how you were like, how you're going to be like. It's playing God. Yes, constantly. And we're being played. We're at the effect of that which is playing God. You are not playing God. You're being played by that which is playing God. You are not playing God. You are not, period. Yeah. Yeah. Did we not have confidence in our ability to think? So they're just furthering the point. Yes. Yeah. Did we not have confidence in our ability to think? Yes. So we've been in a state of deep reliance of self. We have, like it or not. That's been what's going on. What was that but a sort? So there's another question mark. And then again, what was that but a sort of faith? Yes? Well, what kind of faith is that? It's not a denomination. It's not a Christian branch or Jewish branch, but it's faith nonetheless. And like Jesus supposedly said, you know, It's when he was healing someone or participating in that healing, the person would say something. He says, "Hey, it's done according to your belief." Yeah, basically, what's happening has a lot to do with the faith that's being put in it or not putting in it. Yeah. So, what was that but a sort of faith? Yes. See, so they say when you're sitting there, well, I don't know. They go, yes, a big yes. Yeah. Just believe us. We're telling you how it's been going. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think, yes, just yes. Yes. We had been faithful. This is beautiful, Miss Volkman. And we got this from Kathy because it uses an incredible, I think, adjective, right? Yes, we have been faithful, abjectly faithful. And so she looked up the definition, and one of the definitions of abjectly is spiritless servility. Isn't that incredible? So now we're enslaved by the faith that has been put into the God of reason. Yeah. So, yes, we had been faithful, abjectly faithful to the God of reason. When you're praying to that God, is you're listening very avidly to the thoughts. You're taking directions. We are. Yeah. It's telling us how the situation looks, this and that. Yes. And again, the blind guide is going to lead the blind. Yeah. Because if you're in a state of not knowing it, you're blind in a sense, a very big blindness. Yes. Because there's a whole lot of knowing going on. I tell you, haven't you met a new person and they believe they know what the problem is? And there's a giant cloud of the elephant in the room, which is just the active alcoholism running rampant. But they're thinking it's my rent and this and that. Yes. So that there's a whole lot of knowing, like atop the not knowing. Yeah. See, this is the head will give you a whole lot of knowing, so you feel like you know why you're fucked, but you're still fucked. Yeah. So obviously you're wrong. Yes. I had big ones. I remember I had this one behavioral trait that really embarrassed me, made me feel terrible, and everything like that. And my head's hope was it was based on cocaine. So it was the coke that made me act this way. And I lived on that hope for a few years. Then I get sober, and that trait shows itself. And I haven't touched coke in months. Yeah, there you go. My knowing was not knowing at all. I was being fed a knowing to make it a little bit. I mean, the parasite sometimes is sort of a nice jailer. Yeah, it'll give you a little relief. It'll give you, yeah, as long as you stay in that absolute denial and not knowing it, you'll feel like you do. Yeah. So, so abjectly, that means the listening, you are now like listening to it like a devotional hymn. You're here listening all day to the head, and it brings to you it, and the faith in the head brings you to where you stand. Yes? Not the cops, not the this, but truly, if you leave the cause of all the appearances and what moves everything in the world of appearances, it's faith, faith, faith. And the whole process of recovery is the move, because you can't move it, is to move the faith from the finite self to the infinite. And they had great faith that if you followed these steps and had a spiritual awakening, you would have had a strong enough shift to have a sanity that precedes the first drink. So therefore, you don't start drinking. Yeah. Because now you have been restored to sanity concerning the insanity that preceded the first drink, at least. So much more comes from it, but that's basically the guarantee of AA. Really, that's a specific target is to have us restored to sanity concerning the insanity that precedes the first drink, because they're not interested in the 80th drink or the 50th drink. They're interested in the first drink. Yeah. So this is not a program of how to stop. It's a programming of not starting, really. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's not hard. After you've been whipped on that fucking horse and all this, you make really, really appreciate being relieved of this situation. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, we have been faithful, abjectly faithful to the God of reason. So, in one way or another, so basically every situation. So, in one way or another, we discovered that faith had been involved all the time. So when someone says they have no faith, there's faith in that. Yeah. When someone adamantly says they have no faith, there's faith in that statement. Yeah. You can't get before faith. The boot in Monopoly is being moved. The boot does not get before what's moving it because it has no movement without that which is before it. Yes. The boot is not a boot without that moving it. Yeah. So the boot isn't the thing that's having faith. Yeah. Faith is what's making us as a thing, really. And we see what faith can do put into the God of reason. Jesus Christ. It's insane to keep trusting the God of reason. It's insane. It's like Einstein said, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Haven't we been a prime example of that in life? Jesus Christ. So thank God the better way is not perhaps for many of us. Many of us are on the better way. We are. We are now established. We're in the habit of being sober. Hallelujah. Yes? We're not trying to stay sober. We're being sober. We're living sober. Yeah. It's a great habit to be in. If you're not at that point, the program will bring you to that point. Yes, that's what it does. You get into the old habits, get sort of subdued, and new habits replace them. And now you're in the habit of being sober, and you can go on until the last breath you ever take. Could be 30 hours, 30 months, 37 years. The principle is not defined by time. Yeah. That person who has drank for 20 years and then one day they go to like 3 meetings, that day they haven't drank. Yeah. Now they go back again the next day, but that day the principle does the same thing just for that one day that it does for 37 years. Yeah. The principle is not defined by time. Yeah. It's not. The same thing that had that person not drink for that day is the same thing that allows us not to drink for 37 years. Same. Yes. Yeah. Get into the habit of it. That boot will never look back and it will move along to Monopoly. For some reason, maybe it recognizes, hey, I'm not going to Baltic Avenue much anymore. I'm in the boardwalk. And then you start winning the game of Monopoly with a great humility because you know you're not fucking actually doing it. You're being driven to it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the whole point. And the big book says it. You're driven by 100 forms of something. Well, there's not 100 forms of faith. Faith is like an energy, like a primal energy that's neutral. But the faith will manifest here by the vehicle it's put in. We have seen what faith put in the vehicle of the head can produce. An irritable restlessness, discontent, without knowing it, being so sure that you do know it, a lot of shit comes out. Yes? That same faith can bring you an ease and comfort today. Same faith. Yeah? It doesn't have a dog in the hunt. It really doesn't. It's neutral. But wherever it's put in, you're going to be the result of. It's just that simple. So if you put into the finite self, you're going to be a living result of that. If it's put into the infinite, you'll be a living example of that. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Yeah. What makes the man could be a woman, but there's something even before that. Yeah, that makes us. Yeah, yeah. So if you've had a moment where something was clear did for you what you couldn't do for yourself. I don't believe you've had millions of moments when the old employer was doing shit through you that you would never do by yourself. Yeah, you're not aware of that fucking shit. Yeah. But let's say you are aware that something did for you what you couldn't do for yourself. Well, when you say the third step prayer, remember that. Yeah. Remember that miracle because there's a lot of faith waiting there to be put into the next topic. Yes. If you felt that you were free, even for a little while, try to regenerate that feeling. Yeah. And then say that prayer, please relieve us of the bondage of self. Yeah. It has oomph. Now, in this case, I was struck sober. So it was very, very black and whitish. Yeah. Very black and white. It was totally insane, and then it wasn't. Yet everything around me was still totally insane. And luckily, it didn't get swallowed up, because then that miracle would have died in a vine. But somehow, it triggered life to bring me to my first meeting that night, March 21st, 1988, at Salvation Army in San Francisco. And I've been coming ever since. Yeah. If I wasn't introduced to this way of life, I really truly believe that miracle would have died on the vine. I would have been getting loaded in a couple of days. Yeah. But because there was a momentum and it brought to me where I was not looking to go, brought me to a meeting. The gift was there, and how to extend the gift in time was also given. Yeah. So it's very clear to me that something, and it was very, very clear that no human power could do it. Yeah. Because I was out there wrung dry for years. Yeah. Bottoms were just you know, I try to, I'd hit a bottom, I try to furnish it, make it home a little bit. I'd be evicted and I go to a lower bottom. There was no stop, there was no low that I could go to that wasn't going to be followed by a new low. Yeah, for years. I mean, literally years. And years of program of like rehabs, 2 years and 3 months of formal rehabs. Yeah. So I was very, very clear without knowing it, and now I know it, that uh, no human power, including myself, could change this thing. Yet something did all of a sudden. Yeah. So when I live, or if I'm sitting here, that faith is bubbling now. Yeah.
Hi, honey.
Hey, see you guys. Yeah. The family's moving out here. I'm in the trailer today. So, trailer satsang. So, yeah. So I feel that faith has been well placed. I didn't do it, but I know it's in the different basket. Yeah. And we give it the name of the infinite. But if this is the engine of your life, you're going to be on a new basis, and you're going to have a new attitude and a new outlook and a new happiness and a new freedom. Yes. Yes. You're going to be the beneficiary of it. You're not going to be the cause of it. Yes. Remember that. That whole spirit is just drenched in the book, that we are placed in a position of neutrality. This has happened with no thought or effort on your part. Yes. All your importance is unimportant. Yeah. In the delivery of this power. Just follow and do what we do. Go where we go. Yeah. When your head is yapping and you reel up the S of self, don't go and have a conversation. Do service. Yes. Just much faster. gets out. Yeah, you learn stuff. If you feel uncomfortable by going to 3 meetings a week, go to 4, and then you'll find your groove. Yes? Yeah, you'll know like, oh, that works. 5 meetings, great. Or I'd like to go to a study and then a speaker. Yeah, whatever. You'll find it. The die will keep being thrown and you'll get familiar with how it works for you. Yeah, yeah, you get into the habit. And now you have the best insurance policy you're ever going to have. Truly, ever going to have. And I mean, I hope uh, by the grace of this power that I live sober to the last breath. Seriously, man, because there's no uh, that which would maybe your whole life you've been trying to get away from. There's no getting away from it. Yeah, it's much better to be on a friend by friend situation with life. Uh, See, the head doesn't think the show's going to be canceled, but it's going to be canceled. Yeah. So it fritters away moments. It does pisses here, pisses there. It thinks it has a super infinite amount of time to, oh, I can make it all up at the last second. No, no. Yeah. Cherish the here and now in its emptiness, literally. You don't need to put anything into it. Just the raw nakedness of being able to hear a hummingbird or that dog yelp just now. The onness of life. Yeah. Just to be awake, to being awake. Yeah, it's quite sufficient in a lot of ways. Yeah. Especially as you get older. Because if I started surfing now, it'd be like 1 to 2 foot waves. If I went into 4-7, I'd have to go to the hospital probably after I got whacked by the wave. It would be like that movie, what was that? Breaking Point, where the guy swims to kill himself. It wouldn't be a 30-footer, it would be a 2-footer. Uh, so this is such, the operating table may feel hard and cold, but then you'll realize it's cushioned, and then it's going to be like a lazy boy. Yes? Yeah. They'll be great. You'll be able to truly rest in life. It's a very important. When you take a pause, to be able to respond to that pause. Yeah. Just to be able to let it like go through your bone system and your nervous system because you need to chill. This place is constantly trying to stir the pot till it froths over. Yes, on and on. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so, yeah. So to me, this is super important because they're getting to the point where if you are driven and moved, then where you drive to and how you move isn't really the point. It's what's moving you and what's driving you. You need to get clear about that. And AA's has a certain clearness that there's only 2 possibilities. Either you're going to be driven by finite self, and this is the God of reason, or you're going to be driven by the infinite. Yeah. Now, is everything at all times being driven by the infinite? But in your little movie, it breaks into 2 things. While being driven by the infinite, you can live as if you've been driven by self your whole fucking life. Even though it's not true, subjectively, you're going to feel like it's true. Yeah? That's not to snicker at. That's pretty potent. Yeah? So here, there's 2 possibilities, recovery. Trusting finite self, and that's is what we discover that we've been in that state. Yes, we get out of the without knowing it, and now we're knowing it. Yeah, and then trusting the infinite, and now we see the infinite expressing through our life, and we know the tree by the fruit. And it allows us to know the older tree by eating the new tree's fruit. Hey, Jesus Christ, that it was insane. Insane. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel many of us are, you don't have to look back. Yeah. You're just moving forward. Recovery progresses. Don't buy this thing that the recovery stands still and is completely fragile. It's fucking much more strong. It's much stronger than the disease. I'm telling you, it is. Yeah. Light is faster than that plodding fucking. It's like you ever see the movie, the first one, The Blob? We had a movie in early in the 60s in America, The Blob. And the blob was this huge giant. It looked like someone like Vaseline took form. And the Vaseline could move at maybe 1 micro foot like every hour. It didn't have any legs, so when people saw it coming, they could have a picnic, fucking get married, get divorced by the time the blob would get to where they were. So it was the fear of it was all made up, obviously, because it couldn't get anybody. Yeah. But while you're believing it can, it's scary as hell. But this is the thing, when you see that it can't, that it's like seeing the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. The explosion sounded much louder when you thought it was a huge big dude. When you see it's a totally different small dude, the same explosions don't sound so loud anymore. Yes, exactly. So, yes, all right. So that's that with that. Faith. Faith, a force like a gravity, like dark matter, neutral. But here, what it's put in, that's how it's going to manifest. Yeah. That's how the head can make mountains out of molehills. It's through faith. Yes. The head cannot make mountains out of molehills. It can't. Yeah. But it sure seems like it. And that's faith. Yeah. That's the God of reason being incredibly unreasonable to you. So there is a solution. Hallelujah. There is. Yeah. Just hopefully you see the difference between what has defeated you and you. Uh, if you don't, it can lead to its apex, which is you hate yourself, which is incredibly insane. It's it's life. It can be tough already. You don't need you to be, to every day willingly stand behind the 8 ball and believe that you hate yourself, you're your own worst enemy. That's not a, that basis doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't. So, all right, let's open it up. Thank you. I have such a joy. It's almost like when you read the music you sing inside. Yeah. So I love because this is a living book for me. Yeah. And this faith thing is really just flips me out because it makes complete sense how things happened. Yeah. Because I don't have faith in the head anymore. Yeah. And then the head's uh, effect is completely different. It's saying the same shit it used to say, but I don't listen to it. I hear it, and actually, a lot of times I'm too busy to hear it, but I do it. You still hear it because you're awake. But there's been a great shift of hearing and listening. Yeah, the listening is an infrequent event now, where before the listening was the constant event. Yeah. So yes. So I'll keep going back to this because it's so joyous to me. I am. I take advantage of this situation. These things trigger a nice waterfall inside. Yeah. because obviously the head is trying to tell you so much shit. Yeah. Oh, this ain't never gonna work out, and this and that. It's always playing God. You're not that which is playing God. You're gonna lose interest in that which is playing God. And then there'll be a God that you'll find, so to speak. And it's never been gone, really. You're standing right with it now. So, all right, we have Chris. You want to question, Chris? Share. Can't hear you.
There we
Chris,
go.
we can't hear you. Now, yes.
It wouldn't let me unmute.
All right, now
Just,
you're in, yeah.
yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to say just thank you so much for that talk, Paul. I feel like that was another really good one, like last week. It's just really like powerful. I don't know if it's like because of other things that have been going on in the situation, my situation this week, that, but in any case, the whole faith thing, you know, if you look up abject in the dictionary, like you're saying, there's a whole lot of other words: servile, slaveless, base-spirited, utterly hopeless, miserable. I mean, it's all there. And you know that old saying, yeah, you know that old saying, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Like with the faith in the in reason, it's like fool me 5,000 times, and I'm still, we still just go with it.
Yes.
It really is insane. And even when you're looking and sometimes in just your normal life, you get real evidence of like faith in the infinite. Like, wow, how did that all just work out without me having anything to do with it? And then it's just a really good talk. I don't really have any question or anything to add. I just wanted to say there's there's no place like this place for
Okay.
this, and I just really appreciate it.
Well, we always are coming to believe. Step two. Step two, we come to believe a certain thing, but basically, we're coming to believe by demonstration. Yeah, not by mental repetitiveness. Yeah, but by a demonstration in your life that something works. And that's much stronger than thousands of repeated words over and over again. It is. Recovery works. It does. That's why when something doesn't work, it needs tons of advertising. Yeah. When something works, it doesn't need that much advertising. Yeah. Because the proof is in the pudding. Yeah. AA doesn't need that much advertising because the proof is in the pudding. The head is all about advertising. Yeah. You ever, you
Sometimes
ever drink Budweiser when you're out there? Budweiser beer. It's terrible beer. And then they have tons of commercials and they change the cans. They put four holes in the top. They do all this shit, but they never change the product. So they have to keep making, oh, drink it this way or whatever, or look at the horses on the can because the beer sucks. Yeah.
when
So
I
this,
first started coming here, I didn't see that the beer sucked. Like you were talking about this, and I'm like, faith? No, that's not. I don't have faith. That's not what happened. But after this, all these months, it's like just totally flipped, and it's just it is almost funny, actually. It is almost funny. It's like someone believing a con artist who just keeps coming to this door and keeps selling you an empty box, and you keep giving them all your money, and you just keep doing it. And it's at some point, it took me it was a hard fall for that to the denial, the faith. If faith is the better word. Like it's just faith is this thing that you believe despite all evidence to the contrary. You just keep believing it. And it took a long time before I started to see the other, like, just relax a little bit and realize, oh, I'm not actually do, I'm not actually doing all this, and something is holding me up. And that all happened for me here.
Yes. Well, when a kid thinks that, they're swimming, but there's the father or mother's hand is in holding them up. Yes. Yes. Yeah. This is what it's like. It's all right to be a kid. It is. I'm outmatched. I have no idea. Yeah.
We're totally outmatched. How can you possibly even think you're not outmatched? I mean, it's like the
Yeah. So
in
science, and also if you're interested in the fear, there's a beautiful statement on 67, I think. We'll go to that now. Which, because fear is given a lot of meaning in this society, or every society, I guess, a lot of meaning. Yeah. And the meaning, it's a cause of a lot of things. But really, in AA, they move from fear and they go to self-reliance as the cause of the fear. Yeah. So they're going to the exact natures of the wrong and the underlying causes and conditions. Fear has an underlying cause. It is not fear. It's self-reliance. Yeah. There you go. It's right there in the book. Yeah. We asked ourselves why we had them. It says, we reviewed our fears thoroughly, 68. We put them on paper, even though we had no resentment in connection with them. We asked ourselves why we had them. Wasn't it because self-reliance failed us? There you go. Yeah. So, all right, yes, people start a talk from cause, fear is the cause of all this and all that, but they're missing the underlying point, which is fear is an effect of something else, which is self-reliance. Yeah. So wouldn't the wise direction be would to bypass the fear and get to the self-reliance? Tell the truth about that, yeah, and see what happens. And maybe miraculously you will seem to outgrow fear.
it's like fear is like the correct response to self-reliance, right?
Well, yes, yes, and it's covered up, and then that fear is projected on everything else as being the cause. But it's self-reliance, yes. This is the diagnosis of recovery book. I'm not saying anything. I'm just reiterating it. It's right in the book. Yeah. It stops you with, wait a minute, before you get into your story, isn't it because self-reliance has failed you? What? Yeah, there it is. And that's it. That is it. On page 93, they don't dive deeper than that. They got to the exact nature of the cause, which is self-reliance. That's the end of that, and they move on and they talk on a lot of other stuff, but they have got to the point. Yeah, self-reliance. No more discussion. It's not brought up on page 103 or 104, or there's not a giant chapter of buts or what was excluded from that statement. It's a clear, crisp diagnosis. They move on from there. Isn't it because self-reliance has failed you? Question mark. Feel it. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, because we're walking around with, we believe we know the effects and the causes of a lot of shit. I meet a lot of people in recovery who really, they believe they know the cause of it, and they're completely out to lunch. Yeah. They need to go to a meeting. That's what they need. Yeah. They need to if they go to the meeting, maybe get a commitment. That's the best probably advice you could give them. But they believe the cause is early trauma or this or that. No, your head gives meaning to whatever trauma you have been through. Yeah. It's not the trauma that captures you, it's the meaning your head has given it. I've been through a lot of physical trauma in this life, a lot. And I was in uh, a wing in a hospital with people that had severe damage. So we were all in the same ballpark of severe trauma, physical trauma. There was about 12 people there, maybe 7 or 12. And they would want us after we got to a certain point, because we weren't leaving the hospital right away. We were going to be in there for a while. When we got to a certain point, we would get together. Yes. And they hoped that we would stay in touch when we left for support. Yeah. And now I saw some of those people. Some of the people started drinking after the accident. Some people stopped drinking after the accident. Yes. The trauma did not produce the same effect on everyone because the trauma was being given meaning, yeah, by the head. Yes. This, no matter how objectively heavy the experience is, it's being interpreted by a subjective point of view. Yes. Yes. Yeah. This is really how life happens. Things happen, and then there's the subjective experience of how we see that happening, how it affected us. Yes. It changes everything. So they're getting to the exact nature of the wrong, which is it concerning fear, is self-reliance. There you go. Like it or not, that's what they offer. Yeah. And they offer it with a hope that you'll entertain it and see if it doesn't uh, authenticate itself, which I believe it will. Yeah. Yeah. Self-reliance, abject faith, all of that is the same. It's it's the accumulation of faith put into a certain basket. Yes. And it has grown for a lot of us to such an incredible state of pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. Yeah. Seems like an impossible task, but if you just stay with us, there'll be a shift from that faith in that into the faith in the infinite. Yeah. Yep. And no matter how far down you've gone, it doesn't matter. This magic will work. Yeah. So, anyone else? Oh, we got a few. Let's get
Yeah.
Yes, we have Brian Crew first.
all right, Brian, come in.
All right, great, thanks. Um, my question, Paul, is I've been going to AA now for over a year, and your meetings have helped me to kind of reconceptualize what alcoholism is and isn't. I like that you talk about the action figure, the parasite, and the self. My question isn't around. I have a lot more faith since coming here that I am more the infinite self, and that I've been under the delusion or the, I don't know, the ride of the parasite or the finite self. The challenge I have with meetings, and I just want to hear your perspective, or if I'm it's possible, I'm just overthinking some stuff that's part of the my mind that does that, is at the beginning of meetings, people say, "Hey, I'm Brian and I'm an alcoholic." And or we all say I'm an alcoholic. And from your perspective, we're not the alcoholic, we're not the parasite, we're not the finite mind. And
Yes.
am I overthinking it to question saying I say it because it's like what I feel like is supposed to happen, but I don't feel comfortable with it as a way to continue to tell myself this message.
All right, then why not just announce yourself as a grateful member of recovery?
Okay, that's okay?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
All
Um,
right.
my name's Paul. I'm a grateful member of recovery. Yeah.
Okay.
If it's bothering you. Now, for me, that doesn't bother me to say I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't bother me at all. But if it did, I would do the same thing. This other person that it used to bother did, which was, why not say you're a grateful member of recovery or a grateful member of AA? I like recovery. Yeah, there you go. You've bypassed that big bullet. Yeah.
All
And
right, thanks.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's no and then you'll probably go back to it. It doesn't matter. It's just a lot of the stuff is formality after a while.
Hmm.
And I'm not the here to, I don't want to make a new thing. You know,
Yeah.
stop right there. Make just yeah. Yeah. But if it you said one thing is that you're having a feeling around it, and in that case, I would do I'm a grateful member of recovery. Yeah. Yeah. See how it goes.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, because the thing is, the meeting itself is the last thing you want to have things make it uncomfortable to be there. Fuck. Point is to yeah, that should be a sanctuary, not like an interview room for something. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's what I would do.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we have Mr. Butler from Novato, I think, or Sean.
Yes, I don't know. He took his hand
Mr.
down.
Butler may have left or something. Yes. All right.
Stephen.
Oh, Stephen Butler. So there's Sean. You want to hit Sean?
Yes, Sean, you can speak.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. Thank you, Paul. I had a question about Al-Anon. People in Al-Anon have told me that the common theme or a lot of like the cliche statement is to focus on yourself more and not on others, and like self-reliance is some like a good thing because the Al-Anon person is so focused on the alcoholic and their behavior and how they can control and manage that, and they kind of turn more into, oh, how can I focus on myself and this, and as opposed to like AA where like selfishness is the root of our problems and
Right.
why we're in so much fear is self-reliance. So I'm is there like just a language distinction that I'm missing there, or why
Well,
is
no, because on the surface, their dance steps have to go away. Yeah, where the alcoholic, their dance steps go another way. So yeah, for a skillful means and ways here in the action figure world, yes, that's the first part of it. It's all gonna merge, yes, but they have to sort of, yeah, because there's been so much damage it going completely onto the alcoholic, they have to put that car in reverse and go back to them. But that's a movement in the beginning of stuff. It's not going to stay that way. Yeah. Because deep down they're in the same predicament as the alcoholic. There's a self-centeredness. Yeah. Yes. So, but when there's one thing, there's sometimes the medication has to trigger the other thing, and then you get to the real stuff. Yes, I would say. But I don't have an intimacy with Al-Anon because I've always been that which they talk about in Al-Anon. I've never been, I've never had the other shoe on. So like many of us, we have been the topic of many meetings of Al-Anon, probably, an alcoholic. So, but I don't know. But yeah, I see here, there's certain forms of work, yeah, and then there's the work, so to speak. Yeah. The work is you're placed in a position of neutrality with no authority or effort. Work is sort of like, oh, I've been going one way, I need to go the other way. Yeah, simple from forward reverse. So this is, I feel, what happens. Yeah, in these programs, the inception of the program is to, instead of feeding that person, feed yourself. Yes, yeah. Now, that would be one of the last things you'd want to say in AA. because we have a huge sense of entitlement that we should have all the pumpkin pie. So, yeah, we need to learn we have to learn other things. Yeah. Yeah. But there's learning, and then there's another thing then there's knowing, so to speak. And knowing is it's a different flavor. And I think that comes from the innermost, yeah, the knowing. The learning is on the surface, yeah. I had to learn to it was so beautiful in AA, really, because first of all, the barest thing that you can do is incredibly potent, which is listening to others at the meetings, yeah. Because many people, they've only listened to themselves all day, yeah. Really, literally. They've been walking around listening to themselves all day. So we come into a meeting, and I was directed early on. They said try to sit near the front, yeah, and pay attention to people as an exercise. Yeah. You've been paying attention to you all day. Just pay the same attention to other people. And it was great. Yeah. Yeah. So these things are set up, and they have objectives, and they work. Yeah. And a lot of it goes on without us knowing it. So you're sitting there, and now you haven't just listened to yourself all day. You've actually listened as an act to others at the meeting. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just working on so many levels. Of course, the orchestration, I would say, is the higher power. Yeah. And sometimes you need to stop and tie your shoes. Other times you can throw off the slippers. There's different situations. Yeah. Yeah. And it's best to have a sense of that, because sometimes people, let's say there's an idea of an idea of non-duality, let's say. So, and someone's in a house, and the house is on fire, and the person is trying to deal with that by saying there is no house and there is no person, when really they need it at that moment isn't that philosophy. They need a pail of water. Yes. So this becomes very pragmatic in a lot of ways. So when you're working with someone, sometimes that someone needs the lift. When you're working with another person, that person needs to be, he's gonna, or she's gonna be picked up. Yes? So one case they need to lift, the other case they need nothing, they get picked up. There's different strokes for different folks at different times. Yes? Yeah. And you're guided by something, usually. I can sense, you can just sense when someone's activities are trying to avoid a larger thing. Yeah. And they're just not facing up to the situation at hand. And then if you hold them in one place, they get very squirmy. Yeah. 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 So it's a sleight of hand. The head wants you to look at everything other than the real cause of shit. Yeah. Yeah. And people get engaged with that. To me, a great sponsor isn't your friend. They're there. Yeah. And when you start going off into the little story, they not, yeah, they just stare it back at you. You're just not saying shit, but you can feel how phony you are by just sitting there saying it in front of them. It's pretty potent. Yeah. Yeah. And it's fine to be full of shit, because you're not that which is full of shit. It's fine, really. You don't have to stand guard and us like keep a tight security, let it all hang out, because most of it ain't you. It really is. We're defending a lot of shit that we're not. There's a lot of defense to not have what we're not revealed, because it's assumed that it's us, but it ain't. Yeah. We are so similar to each other in behavior, thoughts, and reactions to life. Very similar, because it's not you and I reacting, it's alcoholism. Yeah. Alcoholism is pretty much the main representative of many of us. Yeah. Yeah. So remember this thing of the actor, our actors, and then they describe what the alcoholic can act like. Yes. Sometimes virtuous, sometimes kind, but still self-centered. Incredible. They're trying to imply that you're not the actor by describing it. Because when it's described, you feel uncomfortable. Wow. Yes, because you've done all that, like virtuous, kind, but self-centered. And then hopefully realize that's not you. Yeah. So they talk about the actor, but they make it very clear our actor. It doesn't say our actors, but because there's only one actor that's playing millions of us, our roles. Yeah. Alcoholism doesn't change by the vehicle it's taken over. It's the same alcoholism. The vehicle has no effect on the alcoholism. The alcoholism has the effect on the vehicle. Yeah. So you think you're a Ford, I think I'm a Buick, but we end up at the same 3 parking spaces. There's something to be seen there. And it's in that commonality of defeat that we can see we're not that which has defeated us. Yes, I hope. That's the point, literally. Because if you don't see that, you're going to try to be free as it. And being free as self doesn't work. Yeah. That's the bondage of self trying to get out of self. It just doesn't work. Yeah. So recognize what you're not. Yeah. And when you recognize its activity in you, bring it to step 6 and 7. Ask that greater power to reconfigure it or use it in a different way. And there you go. So when the garbage is seen, you don't go over in great detail about the garbage. You recognize it's garbage, you bring it to the recycle, which is 6 and 7. You don't even have to open the bag. You know the shit's there. Just bring it there. And then things are going to be changed. That energy that was captured and fucking will be will be animated again by the higher power. It will. Yeah. All of this is life. It's your life. A lot of our life has been frozen by the parasite. It gets put back into the water of life. Yeah. By the higher power. So 6 and 7 is an incredibly valuable uh asset. Yeah. Because now you're seeing shit knowing it. Yeah. Where you were not knowing it. So you didn't see it. Now you're seeing it because you're knowing it. And when you're knowing it, it's this essence of it is not you, and you bring it to 6 and 7. So the state of without knowing it has been changed. You are knowing it when it's doing its shit. You know it now. And when you notice it starting to do its shit, you can just bring it to 6 and 7. Yeah. And that energy will be brought back to you. And I would imagine that same energy used by the head that would keep you agitated and uncomfortable will bring an ease and comfort to your day. Yeah, it's the same energy. It's just where it goes and what's using it. It is. It's the same energy. The faith that produces an ease and comfort is the same faith that produces irritability, restlessness, and discontent. It's based on where it is. Yeah. Tell the truth. The program will move it from the finite to the infinite. There you go. Yeah. You don't do any heavy lifting. You really don't. You really don't. Yeah. When it says be willing to go to any lengths, that could mean no length. Yeah. It doesn't mean thousands of miles. It could be you're not going to do shit. People call me up to help somebody. I'm willing to do it. I start putting my pants on. They call me back. Oh, we got it covered. Yeah. So I get all the credit. But I didn't have to do shit. I'm just willing. Yeah. So don't I mean, your ideas aren't your ideas. Let them be replaced by new ideas. I mean, they give you a much larger view. They do. These old ideas are fucking myopic, to say the least. All right, so thanks. I think I got it going. What time is it? I gotta take care of business today. Yeah. So hey, thank you. Hey Chad, thank you. Nice to see you, bro. Yes.
Thank you, Paul. You're amazing. I appreciate you.
That it's this power that we're sharing, man. Yes. Yeah. The pot's being stirred with a certain kind of certainty. It's good. Stephen Mack on Having Never Left, as always. Nice to see you. Chris B, my main man in New England. Rico Cruz, there he is. Yeah, he may live in the coast, but he's from the East Coast. Yeah. Kathleen, Kerry, UK. Nice to see you, Kerry. Brian Crow, thank you. And thank everyone who donates or does service and keeps this ball rolling. It's much appreciated here. Yeah. Miss Volkman, the keeper of the furnace. Do you ever see this movie by Michael Mann called The Keep? It was funky, but a great weird movie. And they had a thing like the furnace here. So you're the keeper of the keep, Miss Volkman. So John B, UK, nice to see you, brother. Yep. We got Alex. Nice to see you. Roman Mueller, as always. Yeah. He's a magician with a fanny pack. He is incredible. Yes. Sean, nice to see you, Sean. Yes. Kathy, Cleveland. Yep. Walter, Joseph, France. Nice to see you, Joseph. Christine in Hawaii. Pleasure. You're looking good, Christine. All's well? Yeah, good. Oh, great.
I'm in California until January, the end of
Eh?
January. So maybe I'll come and see you guys.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay, check it out. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Just call us. You have my number? It's in the
I don't.
it's
Is it on Zen Bitch Lab webpage?
I think so. If not, send me a message and I'll send it to you.
Okay, mahalo. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Hey Paula, nice to see you, honey. Yep. In Liverpool. Vlad in Portugal. As always. And everyone else, thank you so much. We'll see you today, 4:30. I've got to say something for today's. I have to go to the city and I'm concerned that I'm going to make it back here, but I'm going to bring my thing. So we will have the Zoom, but I may end up appearing in darkness as the day as the daylight moves because I may be in the city in the car or somewhere. Yeah. All right, just let you know. See you guys. I hope I'll get back in time. See you.
Thanks, Paul.
Wow.
Thanks.